Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit's Homebrew. Joining me today is Brent from Langeministudio that can be found on Instagram, as well as Kilk, who can be found on TikTok as well as Twitter. And then I want to talk about yesterday.
Oh my god.
So, setting up to go into it, this is our 50th session of our campaign. I knew in my head, it's like, especially when Nick said he was coming, and like he said he's coming before, but he's had to cancel because of family issues or sickness or something comes up at the last minute. That's why he's kind of our part-time player. Why I left him at 13 until he actually came back and joined, because he showed up before everybody else. I'm like, I will warn you, you're still 13. I go, I've kind of incorporated a Baldur's Gate 3 rule from the video game. He goes, what's that? I go, well, you know how you don't use a companion for so long, and then when you actually bring them out, then they level up? To save me ink and paper for printing out sheets, I stopped leveling you until you actually came for one session.
Yeah, and then that's cool.
So he actually was totally on board with that. He goes, that's actually a really great idea. He's totally okay with it. So I knew I wanted to go super big with this, and when he came, it's just like, yeah, I'm pulling this trigger because this is even going to be even. So you guys went through all of Gilvickel's kind of like Sanctum.
Yeah.
Merrick turned into a statue. You fought Mind Flayer, Gilvickel, got the sword. We're starting to get the sword off him, but that's when we wrapped last time at session 49.
Yep.
And then we just pick up right where we left off. Come to find out, the sword that was on Gilvickel actually some sort of curse on it. Basically, if you just touch it, it automatically produces you with the transmutation effect of looking like a Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, after you brought back Gilvickel, he revealed that, I didn't switch sides. I was dominated completely and utterly.
Yeah, it was interesting, right? Because when the session started, we had just completed that. Mm-hmm. We had just killed the beholder.
Killed my first beholder as a player.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You were petrified, basically over there, freaking out because Gilvickel,
my friend Gilvickel,
got blown up by a chain lightning. It's all right. She got what was coming to her. And it was a bit wild.
Found out because what was it? We had a side table talk. It's like, there's no lesser restoration in D&D.
And
then,
yeah.
Well, there's lesser restoration.
There's just no restoration.
But I don't think they're like in the player's handbook as published. There is a restoration spell,
right?
Greater restoration,
and then
lesser restoration.
And then Tobe comes up and says, "Oh, but I got lesser restoration."
Yeah,
she's like, yeah, it's right here on my spell list. I'm like, oh, so it is, huh? Okay.
But anyways, you became petrified by the beholder in that last fight. So Ramah undoes that.
I cast reincarnation
because I have you roll the dice because you have chaos magic. You have no control over that.
And I liked that he turned into that, because actually on the reincarnation list, that's not even a race that's on the.
I literally asked Google, list me every playable race in D&D 5e, and it brought me up a list. Came up for Kroka on like 11 or 12, I think you rolled. And then I looked at all the little different bird types that people like cite as examples.
Yeah.
I'm like, roll me a d6.
Oh, okay. I was learning about that.
I'm like,
done.
I'm like, oh god, I kind of hope he turns into a raven. That'd be so cool. But then
Raven would have been cool.
Yeah. And then
Parrot makes sense though with him.
And then he seems to kind of be acting a little bit more normal than what he was, but you don't know quite.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to sit
really
down
interact.
Right, yeah.
Because you guys basically got half short rest.
We caught our breath.
You just hear the clang of metal of his canteen go across the marble floor, and these two heavily armored Dragonborn come marching through, and then Xingshe comes.
Yeah,
guy for, since session 10.
And he's our world archon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's our what?
He's our world archon.
The archon. Yeah.
Archon the Cruel.
Yeah. Archon the Cruel. That's basically thematically that's what he is for us.
Archon the Cruel comes, or you can go talk to Archon and basically help him resurrect Tiamat. And if you resurrect Tiamat goes and frees the city because she's lawful evil and she holds her thing.
Yeah, but you can make a deal with her.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one of the ways to free the city in Avernus.
Whoops.
Well, I don't know if that was an option for us here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was wild. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't expecting Xingshe to show up.
No.
But I do like it because Nick was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely appropriate for the people that were there. Yeah. No.
Right. And
we would have died on that bridge.
right, he would have been like, I'm going down there to talk to my brother.
I want to give him a piece of my mind. Dang it.
But I do think. So there was a moment there when he was like, I'm going to take that sword and I'm going to use it to kill the Overseer. Which is fine. Immediately, as far as Toy Bar is concerned, this guy's going to go kill the Overseer and everybody's scared of this dude. The Overseer just is responsible for everything that just happened to Gilvickle and all this other stuff. There was a moment there where I was going to try to see if he could convince Toy Bar to join him. And Nick's character is not going to allow anybody to start a conversation with his brother other than him when that guy walked in the door, which was actually good.
And I'm actually surprised Nick tried to reason with Xingshe.
He did, yeah. He tried to talk him down, yeah.
And he's like, why are you here? You have enough items. You do not need this sword. And then,
yeah.
But I want it.
Yeah, but I want it. That's the Xingshe thing.
Yeah. And then he goes, can't we just work together? Can't we just... No.
Well, yeah, we can work together. You kneel to me.
And that's literally the conversation. Can't we just work together? No. And he goes, we can work together. Okay. Swear fealty to me.
Yeah. 3 people at the table went, can't do that. We already got a boss.
And then goes, and then Kolpak is like, we can actually talk this out. This is a very abbreviated version of it.
Yeah, extremely.
That's when you said swear fealty to me. If Nick didn't pipe up, Toy Bar probably would have asked Xingshe a legitimate question about how strong are you really? Because I'm tired of this bullshit.
That would have been funny as a famous. I'll swear fealty.
Right. Yeah.
Shut up.
And I don't know if you guys caught this at the end, but Toy Bar cast Finger of Death again.
Yeah.
I didn't say it as just a jest as the player, and he just blasted that dude with Finger of Death, and the guy died and turned to a zombie.
He's dead, turned to a zombie. Yeah.
As far as Toy Bar is concerned, I said this last session. It's no longer happy-go-lucky, jovial stuff. Toy Bar is getting very serious moving forward, and better or worse, he's going to be casting major things.
Cool.
And he's going to... I don't know if it's necessarily always going to go along with the party's wishes, because he's in a position where if Xingshe would have been like, you, Satyr, rather than dominating me, do you want to join me and go fuck this person up? All you gotta do is tell me where the sword is, and you can come with me. Let's go do it. He would have been like, "It's in the bag of holding. Let's go."
It's in her bag, yeah.
Like,
because we hid the sword in Tove's bag of holding.
Really?
Yeah.
and then you dominated me. You dominated me, and I was like, "Oh, thank God."
That would have been such a good role playing moment, though.
Because the party obviously wouldn't have allowed that to happen,
No.
right? They would have been like, "Toy Bar, what are you doing?" And it would have gone a little weird, right? Toy Bar would have been like.
It would have gone really weird because as Merrick would have been like, screw you, you're not touching that bag, but almost diametrically opposed to PvP. Like the very thought of me fighting another
But I don't think Toy Bar would have fought anybody.
But Xingshe would have made you. He would have,
Well, it was in Tove's bag, right?
Yeah, in Tove's bag, yeah.
It would have probably, most likely, as the player me, I would have looked at it as, okay, all right, cat, hand it over. And if she didn't, he would have been like, all right, I'm just going to take it from you.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe he dominates her.
Yeah.
And says, give me the sword. And she goes,
here you go.
But it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of shenanigans.
And I'm glad it
what
did.
you just said reminds me of like this old comic that came out a couple years ago. Like it's called Slap Happy Jack, the Furblog Clown or whatever. And it says session 1. He's this jester and all that, and happy-go-lucky, comical character. And then it cuts to session 40. It's this super serious moment. He's holding the door open, and they're like,
go!
He's just like, go. Somebody's holding the sign. I'll always love you. I always love you too.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my God. Yeah. Where everyone, first session, everyone hates him. And then the last one, it was like, he's so heroic. And like, okay.
Yeah, and when Nick started talking to Xingshe, I was like, we're going to fight. I knew it was coming.
The first 3 sentences of the conversation, I'm like, we're rolling initiative. It's happening.
There was 2 points in this session, and we'll get to the second point as we get along with this fight. But the first session, the reaction I got in Nick when he goes, when he's trying to reason with him, and then Xingshe just cut short to, "I'm going to take this sword from you just like I took Tessima Goza. Give it to me now."
Yeah.
And Nick just like leans back in his chair like I just fucking gut punched him.
Yeah.
Right.
In my mind, I'm like, DM just slapped it. He just slapped him across the dinner table.
He's
Dang.
like, "Oh, it's gonna be like," Nick's like in his mind. I can like, "Oh, it's gonna be like that."
No, absolutely.
Xingshe is a no nonsense. Like if you want something, you're gonna give it to him, and if you don't, he's gonna go.
He's
through
gonna
you.
take it. Yeah.
Right. And we saw that a few times in our last campaign, especially with Wrathgriff specifically. He's like, "Tell me where this person is, or tell me this," and she was like, "No, he just rips her arm off." And he's like, "Okay, now tell me."
And
It was the same situation as when Merrick earlier on in the campaign had that senator, and he was basically like, "I'm not part of this. I'm not." Well, and he just slammed him.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes, nice."
Definitely something that that me as a player is starting to think of, and I'm gonna have like Merrick think about it too. Is like he and Xingshe could be like cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
You know. And so now it's going to be like a thing with Merrick, like, do I want to, how far am I willing to go? Do I want to turn into that?
yeah,
You
that,
know?
that was what I was just gonna say. It's like, is that my path?
Yeah. Yeah. Merrick is absolutely like, did I just look into the future? You know?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
You're the what sort of onslaught? That's your actual name.
Yeah, like,
so.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh shit, you know? And so it's kind of like a turning point for Merrick, because I've always had this idea in the back of my mind of like, if Merrick were to be I don't know the right word for it, but if he were to be in charge, what would he want to create?
Mm-hmm.
And I have this idea in my head of like, okay, cool. He sees all that's wrong with the world, which everyone knows that no matter what, bad stuff's always going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
But he can at least create an area where he can try to do it his own way. So if that's in Muspelheim, okay, cool, then he'll do it. He wanted it to be in Midgard, but that's not an option anymore, being what he is.
Which I feel fits is just you're doing a very noble idea or a very noble thing, and you're trying to carry it out, but you're probably going to end up, or Merrick at least, maybe not you, it's going to go the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. At some point, there's a reason your name is the Sword of Onslaught.
Yeah. How much are you willing to sacrifice?
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
I also want to say, before we get back into the Xingshe stuff, before Xingshe showed up, there was a little bit of the role play there with with Mahadi and the Beholder.
Oh my god, that was so awesome.
The two souls in the sword.
I love that conversation so much.
You asked, is the Beholder in there? And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's my favorite movie, and I'll reference it as much as I want. I go, it's that scene where Bill Murray's in the hallway, and he's looking at Slimer, and it's just like, he's looking at me, Ray.
Yeah. But what do you mean he's looking at you?
He's just there looking at, and like, and I think I said, it's like, you legitimately hear Mahadi freaked out.
He's just looking at me. and Merrick's like, he's just looking at you? How many eyes? And he just goes,
Like,
all of them.
He's like, what is it? What is he doing? He's like, he's just standing there staring at me.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, that.
But
Is
What
that
does
it?
it look like? It looks like a beholder.
It looks like a beholder. Like, that's not what I'm asking. But yeah, Mahadi was like legitimately scared. Like, I don't know what he's like, because he can't do anything because he's dead.
Like, here's like a literal picture of Beholder. Imagine just being in a confined, restricted space, and that's just staring at you on the other side of the room.
Yeah, just So I was talking to Mahadi. I'm like, okay, Mahadi, go talk to him. What do you want me to say to him?
I don't speak Beholder.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, listen here, big bad information broker.
Right.
Get information out of him. Do your job.
I have to have a basis of communication.
Speak common, don't they?
There's no common tongue in this setting, Merrick.
Yeah. What is this common you speak of? Well,
Yeah, no, it was really cool.
You know, it was an awesome conversation. Yeah, where it was like,
and we'll see how it'll be interesting to see how that evolves too.
the Beholder is probably just as powerful as Mahadi.
I think
Enters that sword with him and is like,
you leave, not me.
like, is that Beholder just staring at him because he's sizing him up?
Yeah,
And he's
Oh,
like,
can I take this guy? Yeah.
this might be the end for you.
As a the player side of my brain was having a conversation with the DM side of my brain. What if Merrick kills Wrathgriff and sucks her into the sword?
Right.
What happens there? What if Merrick kills Xingshe with that sword and sucks Xingshe's soul in, what happens?
So quick Google search if we're playing by just
Yeah.
stat blocks.
Yeah, stat blocks.
For as flawed as the CR system is, because I do think that is a weaker point.
Yeah.
It is the
I
weaker
agree.
point of 5th edition.
Yep.
They are both CR 13.
Okay, so they're of technically equal power.
Right.
So
Which is wild. I would have thought that the Beholder would have been way stronger
Me too, actually.
than Mahadi.
Yeah. But anyway,
And combat, it's harder to deal with.
It
for
is.
sure.
It
Yeah.
is a lot. Like Beholder, I feel in a combat situation is a lot more powerful.
Yeah.
but Mahadi is not built for combat. He's built for other things.
Right.
Yeah.
When you talk about the challenge rating system,
Yeah.
I believe that the challenge rating system, and this is just my personal opinion as a player, should be rated for combat. Right.
Oh, no,
This
I
person is
agree.
a challenge
I
rating
agree.
in combat, so maybe they shouldn't call it a challenge rating system.
I will say there's been like, God, 15 or 20 iterations of the monster manual.
Yeah,
I
there
had one
has.
of the earlier, like, first 3, but like,
Nice.
you look at like what dragons were in that first publication, they were wildly way more powerful than that, and they
Yeah.
refined them obviously with
So they've kind of
adult dragons were doing like 77 damage on a breath weapon, or
Okay.
maybe it was a ancient, but still, I mean that's 77 even at like spread out. That takes out half of a party's HP at
Oh,
even
yeah.
level 15.
Like, yeah, if Merrick takes 77, he's down to half automatically.
Yeah.
So he's right in front of us. Toy Bar's max is at 92.
I'm at 1 right now. By the way,
Yeah, you're at 1
One
right
hit
now.
point.
Rama's max is 93.
So
And Colfax, the Dragonborn monk, is at 120.
that brings us getting
Yeah.
back up to Xingshe though, because him saying it's like Colfax, that just basically rolled initiative. If I remember, I don't think there was any interaction after that.
No, there was not.
No, there was from
There was?
Xingshe
Okay.
when he teleported
Oh,
behind. He teleported and he goes, "This is gonna be fun."
right. Yeah, he literally says in the midst of the group as he's pulling out his Vorpal sword, "This is gonna be fun."
Yeah.
If
What
he
did
had-
Tove cast? She went first. What did she cast in that doorway?
The Earth spell that makes everything
Yeah,
difficult
she
terrain.
cast
Like Earth Shatter or
Earth and
It
Blast.
makes a zone that basically
Yeah.
like of like 9 squares that basically make everything difficult terrain. And I
Mhm.
told her, it's like, you're level 15. I considered this like, if this was Xbox or PS, this is like a bronze trophy that just pops up. You just erupted train in an extra
that was
dimensional
it was
area.
a Earth interruption
Yeah.
or something like that. But yeah, you just disrupted the terrain of a demiplane. Yeah.
And you having Xingshe just, I'm assuming you Misty stepped.
Actually,
Or it was some
I want to
ability
get
that he
into
had.
that a little bit later.
Okay.
But basically, properties of having the Eye of Odin and that basically gave him a teleportability,
Oh, okay.
which it is an action to do that, but it was not technically combat yet. So
I like the way that and I like how no one at the table even questioned. You're like, Xingshe just teleports here, and we're like, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's total sense
And
for
then
this
he's
guy
like,
to be able to do
It's
that.
gonna
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah. I mean, he's got at least, as far as we know, 3 artifacts. Yeah,
Yeah.
I literally I looked at Nick and I was like, he could do that? And he goes, not when I play him, but I'm like, no, you're right. You're right. That makes sense. He's gotten more powerful. So I don't know. Maybe there is you can homebrew an item
Of
that
course,
says
yeah.
as a bonus action, Misty Step. And who knows? He's embodying the soul of the first blue dragon ever to exist.
Yeah.
That could come with some freaky stuff.
God
too.
level powers.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
dragon
So
has.
without
I'll
being a
hand wave it away.
god level power,
Yeah.
and that's saying that he don't have a creation spark. He is technically not divine.
yeah,
How-
he's
But
almost
imagine if he did get one.
It-
Which is why he wanted the sword, I imagine. Take it from Wrathgrip, give it to himself. Now he's got Tesmagosta. Now
So he's got
God Spark,
lightning
now
and
he's got
fire?
Anything
Oh wow, that'd be
he
crazy.
can want to have.
Lightning, fire. Imagine if he got the blank one.
Oh,
He reminds me a lot of in Warhammer Fantasy Archon the Everchosen,
oh okay.
because he just keeps getting more gifts.
Mhm.
The Chaos Gods keep
keep
bestowing more gifts
piling
and
stuff on
piling them on him and piling them on him until he can just kind of do whatever the hell he wants all the time.
Mm-hmm. So,
But he teleported. So that first round of combat, like I tell you guys to roll initiative. First round of combat, he teleports behind Colfax. Says he's going after his brother
He's
first,
going ham.
and
Gotta
he
teach my
teleports
little
behind
brother
him.
another lesson.
And I go
Swings
like
with the
Negan from the Walking Dead. He aims for your neck.
yeah,
and he has
and
a
he rolls a freaking 20 with a Vorpal sword.
which automatically beheads you if you get hit with the 20. But Nick reminds me 5 seconds later, and he's scrambling through his character
He
sheet.
is.
There's-
Yeah.
We're all flipping
He doesn't
through
have
sheets.
He doesn't have experience in combat yet,
No.
so he's not.
And
things
yeah,
on
and
his
I was
sheet, he
more
just
than
doesn't
happy.
know
I'm
what's
like,
up with it.
and I'm more than happy because I know if this happens, Colfax is dead.
I was dominated,
Yeah.
so I couldn't bend luck for him.
I'm like, if anyone has anything, find it now. I'll give
Because
you
otherwise-
guys a solid 3 to 4 minutes to find it because this is.
Otherwise, he's dead.
Yeah.
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 But he reminded me he also has the cloak of displacement.
Yes.
Woo! And thank God for that.
Roll with disadvantage.
And then it turned into a 13, which still hit him,
Yeah.
but didn't
But
kill him.
it didn't. Yeah.
But then he hits his brother again for a 19. Hits him a second time. Teleports character. I don't think
It was between.
No, it was someone else because he rolled.
Because it was
He
me.
rolled 20,
Colfax.
19, or maybe he hit Colfax 3 times.
I think he was just hitting Colfax.
So
No, he hit Colfax twice and then Silvero once.
Oh,
Or
no,
was
'cause
Silvero round 2?
No, it was all within that first round.
Yeah,
So
so
Vera
he
got beheaded in the first round.
But he hit
Yeah.
Colfax 3 times.
Yeah.
20,
and then
19,
he has 4 attacks. Sorry.
20, 19, 13.
Yeah. 20
Which
slash
deactivate-
13.
Yeah, which deactivated the cloak.
Yep.
19.
Yep.
And then he teleports over to Silvera. 20.
That was a 20.
And
And
just-
one shots her.
Boop.
One shots an archmage.
Did she not have any reactions or anything on her page or anything?
Not
Two.
anything. She had shield.
Oh, okay.
That one. Yeah, that one was out.
And that one will work. The
She has a lot more bonus actiony stuff because I wanted
Oh.
to basically do more than one thing
yeah.
with her. But-
Well, immediately when that happened, Silvara is dead.
Yeah, so ours was on your
Toybar is
hit list
dominated.
anyway. Yeah.
Like what did he cast Dominate Monster on me or something?
Dominate person.
Oh,
which
and-
if he spent an entire action in a combat scenario to dominate you, he has precise control of you then.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's loopholes with it. If you have partial domination, it says like you do it to the best of your ability.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh, okay.
with that, no, then he can tell you exactly what to do and you do it.
Yeah, because he asked me where the sword was,
Oh, yeah, that's
but
right.
combat started before I got a chance to answer. And
Yeah, so they interrupted you before you're like, no, go ahead. And
yeah,
I think Colfax interrupted before you could answer. 'cause
yeah, he did. But Silvaris died, got her head chopped off, and Ramah soul caged her soul.
Yeah.
And so Ramah doesn't have a tiny cage. So I talked to her about this. Amulet Warlock. You can just assume that you have captured her soul in your amulet.
Oh,
That
yeah.
Merrick's wearing?
Yeah. She can control her amulet from anywhere.
That's true.
And you're within the space.
So yeah, Merrick's fine. All of a sudden, zoop. What the? Why
And-
is Merrick the soul carrier?
So I told her, I was like, grab her soul. And she was like, why? And I'm like, well, there's a lot of cool things that you can do with Soul Cage. There's a lot of things that she wouldn't do as a player with Soul Cage, right? She's not going to like siphon life off of her or things like that. But if for some reason we weren't able to bring her back, being allowed to ask her 6 questions and stuff like that. But when she's done with the soul, it goes,
It's free.
it's freed. It goes to Helheim.
Yeah.
It doesn't like get
Helheim or
destroyed.
Valhalla, 'cause she died in
Wherever
battle.
it's supposed to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, grab it because her knowledge is important. And if we can bring her back, then you can release her soul and we can bring her back right then. Talking to her about it, it was kind of this is a last ditch effort to save this character.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if it's still going to work because I can't cast reincarnation on somebody who's been dead longer than 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes.
Yeah. I only have 10 minutes to cast that spell.
Do you know the spell slots to do that?
Not anymore.
Oh,
I don't have a spell slot anymore to cast it because I use my
yeah, the
8th
spell
level.
points to regain a spell slot.
According to this, you have 7 points left.
Yeah, so technically yes, but I just
Yeah.
really gonna work, right?
Yeah.
Is Toybar really gonna care? He's already told her she just killed his best friend technically on accident,
Yeah.
and
No,
he doesn't
she
blame
didn't-
her.
She didn't intentionally. She killed him. She wanted to kill him.
Oh, that's
but
true,
he
'cause
thought
it was
he was
chain
He
lightning.
thought he was a mind
Yeah.
flayer.
So
Yeah, if she
he
knew it
doesn't
was
necessarily
Gilbickle
blame
or-
her,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? And so it's this weird concept of I've already felt like these Mage Council people are inept.
For the
They-
most part, they've been useless. Yeah.
They've basically sent me here to die, and
And your master died.
my master.
He got drugged. Yeah, drugged by spiders. They're there.
I'm the
for
only one in
personal
the
gain.
party that's used my red chip, by the way. And then
Oh, don't worry. I got a plan for mine.
So now Toy Bar is just like, you're telling me the head of the Mages Council just got killed and didn't even cast anything?
By Vorpal sword that is the fang of
I
the
get that.
first blue dragon ever to exist.
But she is supposed to be the head mage of the Mages Guild.
Well, she lost
one
her
of
head,
the
so.
premier councils of the entire world.
Right. And she
There
stood
are
there
many, but
as this dude teleported, attacked a few people, and they cut her head off. Probably out of like, who the hell is this guy? Well, like, granted, that all happens in 6 seconds.
It all happened in, yeah.
You know, Toy Bar is just like, it's always some kind of failure with these people.
You know, now that most of the Mage Council people that we've traveled with have ended up dead.
Every one of them that has come with us has died. Do I want to sit here and waste this? And now he did bring body just in case. I told the ape to grab her body.
Yeah. Because, Tove grabbed her head.
we haven't got to the point to what happened to
we
Xingshe.
haven't gotten
We
that
need
far
to
yet.
fill in.
Yeah, we haven't gotten that
We're
yet.
about a fourth of the way
That's
through
true.
the book. What happened
This was
insanity.
so epic.
Yeah.
So we're halfway through the fight.
We're getting bodied.
Yeah.
Did we break his concentration? On Ramah's turn, she cast Greater Restoration on me. Okay. And then I cast
Tasha's Hideous
Laughter.
Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
which he failed. Indomitable, which it says you have to use the next dice roll.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you just can't.
Is that a legendary action?
No, that's a
That's
fighter
a
ability.
fighter.
Fighter ability.
That's a fighter ability, yeah.
So
All
he
right.
used the reroll, still failed. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because you got to roll at 19 to beat.
That's
My
pretty,
spell
yeah,
save.
that-
And he
that's pretty
rolled
hard,
like
yeah.
he rolled within like 3 each time.
The second one, it was a 17. And
Yeah.
I was like, that
So, yeah,
fails.
Yeah, 2 off. That's
And I was just like, man, I hope nobody punches this guy. And Nick's like, I'm going.
I'm gonna go ham on him.
And I was like, no, we can re-roll every time. But he didn't do damage to him. So
Yeah.
it was fine. But yeah, he failed.
I think in that moment,
Does he
like,
not
Toy
have
Bar-
legendary resistances?
No,
That's wild.
because he had Indomitable. I didn't want to give him both.
Yeah,
That's fair.
He is already insane.
Because I was talking to Nate ahead of time. I'm like, I am legitimately terrified of
and
this
he
guy.
did have legendary actions. He just did not
Yeah.
have full legendary like resistance and this.
Me as a player, I was legitimately terrified of this guy because he's level 20 plus fighter.
Brute fighter.
Brute fighter. He has a 2-handed Vorpal sword,
Cloak of
Cloak of Displacement, and
The Eye of Odin.
How many other just mundane
Hand of-
magic items?
Vecna and ours.
He's got the Eye of Odin, which is the Eye of Vecna. He has the Hand of Azazel, which is the Hand of Vecna.
Yeah.
He's got all of this junk in one person. How do we even begin to fight this guy? I'm like, we've got to shut down his Vorpal sword. We've got to shut down the hand and the eye just to have a chance.
Yeah.
action economy.
And action economy, yeah, but he's got 4 attacks.
Maybe. He's probably got
Well,
more because
I mean,
he's
got-
got
well,
action
well,
surge.
if he pops
proved
action
he
surge-
proved that before the end of the combat because Toy Bar had been down.
Yep.
Ramah had been down.
Yep.
Colfax got hit and
Yep.
then got critted when he or by the Praetorian Guard got hit.
Yep.
And they sliced through his. They maimed.
Yeah,
his arm.
he's-
I said the blade goes straight through your forearm, and like I mean, you could see the blade come out as they slice it back up, and it's like you could tell Toad cringe like nope.
Yeah.
But also, that fight was way more difficult than it would have been, say, if we were full health.
If like after a long rest, that fight would have been a little bit
Like, we just
easier.
fought
Well,
a
there-
beholder.
But
There would have
Like-
been a couple more guards with them if you guys were at full health.
yeah,
Yeah, of
oh yeah, you would have prepared for that. But in that with 2 Praetorian Guard and Xingshe, our full party at full health would have fared better.
And
Yeah,
for our
but-
viewers, did describe them basically in full plate mail, holding glaives. That I said these guys are basically the Praetorian Guard that look like they're for the Emperor. And if you've seen, I think
It's Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi, but I think they kind of showed off their abilities.
Guard and Return of the Jedi really
Yeah.
didn't do anything. They just
Most
stood
people
there
who are
and-
Star Wars fans
know that
the
they're
Emperor's
pretty hoss.
bodyguard. is the
Yeah.
Praetorian
Yeah,
Guard,
but
so
like
yeah,
the
it made
new
sense.
version of the guards in that Last Jedi movie,
Mhm.
for all its flaws, that was a pretty cool.
They
scene.
were, yeah, that was a pretty cool
Yeah.
scene. Yeah, where Rey and Kylo.
But yeah, so Toy Bar cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter. He failed twice.
Yeah.
And then he fell prone laughing.
And that's when Colfax goes in and he goes, I'm stealing his sword.
And has a genius idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's on the back of the
Incapacitated is
very
very powerful.
incapacitated says that you can't take actions or reactions, and he was prone, which means he can crawl at half speed or stand up for half speed. Attacks have disadvantage, enemy attacks have advantage. So yeah, he was incapacitated and prone. So he just couldn't take actions or reactions. It doesn't say he couldn't make a save.
Yeah. Or basically like a contest of.
Yeah. It doesn't specifically say he couldn't do that. So.
And I said, and he succeeded.
Yeah.
Within 5.
Yeah, Colfax did it.
I rolled, and then Nick just smiled. 21.
Yeah.
And I had my bend luck ready.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
And I go, you go to grab it, and it's like he's laughing, and it's almost like he's like seizing because he's like like his muscles are so rigid onto this thing. He's trying to hold on to it. It slips out of his grasp.
Yeah.
And so our monk stole the Vorpal Greatsword.
A legendary
Dragon Tooth.
Legendary, like maybe not legendary item. I think Vorpals, maybe Vorpals are legendary.
I would imagine it is.
I'd imagine his is Vorpal.
In our setting, it is one of the Excaliburs, so to speak,
it's
of our
carved
setting.
out of Tessmagosa's one of her teeth.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The OG original version of Tessmagosa.
That's weird.
Vorpal sword is legendary.
Yeah. Oh, then yeah, he stole a legendary item and happened into it.
In the middle of combat, too.
Yeah.
And one was too busy killing Toy Bar.
And no one was busy trying to fight Maris.
So the guards kind of are holding their own against the group.
Yeah, the guards were doing pretty good.
And I think they're holding off on Merrick while...
They did a lot more damage than I thought they would.
Yeah. But they were paladins of something. Yeah, they were Blackguard paladins. Yeah. Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right out of the Volos guide, just stat that. But they also had breath weapons, which I never got a chance to use.
Yeah, because they were blue dragon Blackguard, so they had breath weapons. They did lightning damage, lightning resistance.
Xingshe comes out of that. I think Toy Bar had fallen once already, or he's very close. Xingshe comes out of the Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
Yeah, he's saved at the end of his turn. Yeah.
Yeah, but he uses finally one of his legendary actions and does his empowered breath weapon and just shoots a line straight at Toy Bar and Ramah and knocks them both out.
Bah! Yeah.
Which
that was awesome.
That has to be like, if it was a movie, has to just be an awesome scene of watching this Dragonborn just basically turn around and he has to be.
Oh, he's pissed.
He's pissed at this point.
Because we've embarrassed him because Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
Yeah.
And
who knows what he was thinking about? It could have been.
And now in the middle of combat, he's on the floor laughing, and his brother just stole his uber fancy sword.
And he walked into this thinking he's just going to walk in there, get his way, and leave. Yeah. Maybe kill someone.
It did. And I don't remember how. So, how did Ramah get up? Flint got her up. That's right.
Flint,
she was going to use her
got
ability.
to Flint's turn.
Healing
freaking out because
he's losing his mind. Yeah,
I rolled the fudge dice because he knows who Xingshe is.
Yeah,
he's freaking out. He knows who Xingshe is. This isn't the person.
Him. Yeah,
this isn't the person I adventured with. He is different and he's way more powerful. And he goes, I don't know what to do. And then Merrick yells at him, heal somebody.
Yeah, I'm like, heal somebody.
Yeah.
And so I just and so I come up with the first lyric off the top of my mind. I quote Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell. And just, Mama's got to squeeze my daddy, don't sleep at night. And just 33 health healed.
Yeah, right to Ramah.
What did you just say?
And I, as the player, because I'm like, it's better if he heals me as Toy Bar.
Exactly.
But he's also seen her be very goddess-like.
Right.
He's like, okay.
Yeah. So and that's a weird metagame moment right there, right? Because as a player, I'm like, man, she needs to heal me because she's going to use her ability to stand back up. But he heals her, which actually ended up being better. She was able to heal me.
Yep.
Which brought me up
and then
as a bonus action.
Yeah.
And this is where things got wild. Before we talk about what happened to Xingshe, when it was her turn, she was like, what should I do?
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me this a lot, and I don't like to tell her what to do, but I like to give her
ideas,
like 3 options that I would do if I was the player sitting. Mm-hmm. And so you could heal yourself, and you could heal me. And she's like, but I want to use my last spell slot for something cool. And I was like, okay, well then just use your bonus action to use your healing dice. because
She's,
she has the
celestial-
healing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Celestial
hand-
Warlock. Yeah.
Healing light. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she has 16 d6 she can use to heal people with.
16.
It keeps going up every warlock.
It's 1 plus your level.
Yeah,
Oh
1
my
plus your
goodness.
warlock level, I think.
So it's one.
Oh yeah,
one-
it is. Holy
So
cow.
16d6.
Yeah. So
Oh.
she gave all 16 of them to Toy Bar.
Because
She
you
healed
found
them.
out you can't split them.
Yeah, it was something crazy, and I went super high because she can't. What she wanted to do was give some to me and some to her on the same turn, and I'm like, well, you have to choose one person on the turn.
Okay, it's
You
gotta
can't
be.
just like spread them out all in one turn.
Oh, okay.
That would be like an AOE mass healing thing, which
That'd
would be really
that
cool.
would be really cool.
And she's like, okay, then I'm going to use them on you.
Yeah.
And you get to save your spell to do whatever you want to do. That's cool. And she's like, well, I want to cast my demiplane spell. And I was like, on what? She's like, well, I want to put it underneath Xingshe. We looked at the spell because her original idea was to put that portal in front of them so they couldn't walk through.
Yeah.
They had to go.
They had to go through
totally
it to yeah.
Then we read the wording on the spell.
Mm-hmm.
Her brain went to, so the floor is a flat surface under him. I can just cast it there and he just falls through. And I was like, Yeah. yeah, that sounds freaking awesome. And I was like, go for it. She did it.
Yeah, and that's a top 3 moment for her in this campaign.
Yeah,
Like,
that
wow.
was the second she said that. It was like, well, yeah, I want to cast it under him because it says it's on a flat surface.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't say flat vertical surface. She goes,
No.
no, it just says flat surface. I'm like,
If you guys have never cast Demiplane, it basically creates, it says a shadowy door, but for Ramah, we decided it was going to be a radiant door.
Yeah, which is no problem.
And it goes into a 30-foot by 30-foot cube space that's either steel or wood. It's what it says. But it doesn't say, like, the door. So she's like, and I'm just going to have the door be at the top so he falls down 30 feet. And I was like, that's even better because now he's got to have a way to get 30 feet up to that door.
Straight
and
up,
he has 1 hour to get out of that hole before it closes for technically eternity until she opens it back up.
I spent probably about an hour researching it.
And
He doesn't at the moment.
Oh, really?
No.
So
He's going to have some help.
to me, I was like, that's crazy. Like, but the door stays open for an hour.
yeah, door stays open for an hour. Yep.
So when he failed, he failed his athletics.
Yeah,
check.
he was gonna
So
fall
he falls,
into it. Yeah.
and I go, I'm going to use the same, if I remember the rules right, when you push somebody over a cliff, they have a chance to basically roll like a dex save or an athletic save to basically
grab.
crap the side of the cliff.
As a
Falling
reaction?
over,
Yeah.
I go, DC to it is your spell DC, which is
19.
It was-
19.
Because she's like me, she has a 22 in charisma.
He rolled another 17, and
Yeah.
he'd already used all 3 Indomitable.
Yeah, and I was ready with
Bad luck.
Ben Luck.
And I said, you watch him like grip on. His claws actually sink in about a half second, and then you just watch him slide like a cat going down the curtain.
And falls into the hole.
Yeah, and that was a really cool moment.
Yeah, I thought it was. I'm really proud of her
Yeah.
because that was a big brain moment to where she read the spell and was creative enough to go, hey, can't I just do this with it? And as written, that's exactly what you can do. Yeah.
And did somebody else mention it, or did Tove bring up the fact that this lasts for an hour? We got to figure out some way to block the
To
door.
block it. Yeah.
She
Did-
said,
Did
Tove-
Tove come up with the idea, or did somebody else mention, what happens if we just dispel the door?
So I was gonna cast the spell magic on the
Yeah.
door on my next turn, but Tove was like, just have the monkey lay on it.
Just,
He's a
yeah,
huge creature. Just
Yeah.
have him sit down, and because he can't go through it. It says only medium creatures can make
Yep.
it through.
only medium.
Medium and below, and he's not even a large. It might be able to squeeze through. He's a huge. creature.
Yeah.
So I was like, that would be a great idea.
Which my
It's super
goodness.
cool that he turned into that. He has a +9 to hit, and he really just the only moves he has as the monkey is he has multi-attack with his fist that he can hit twice, or he can throw a rock. That's his entire moveset.
Yeah.
But he's a good damage absorption.
Yeah, he has a lot of
He had a
health.
lot of hit points. Yeah.
He takes up a lot of space. It was Tove that dispelled the door, right?
It was Toe that
She
did it.
did.
Yeah.
So anyone that's listening to this podcast knows that we do white chips, which is much like inspiration for rerolls and blue chips and all that. Tove, much like any video gamer, is a little bit of a hoarder for just in case moments.
Yep.
She had 5 white chips.
She's our inspiration bank.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's our
exactly.
inspiration. She started rolling like she was Merrick,
It was bad.
Everybody rolled terrible this fight.
but she usually don't.
She usually does really. She's
a very
lucky.
like
Yeah.
above like B+ roller. For
Yeah,
her
she's
luck.
yeah, she gets
Yeah, and all she had to do was roll above a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
she had a 50-50 shot.
and I'm like, no,
Because we
no,
did
no.
we did the math, and I'm like, well, it's a +8 with your this and that.
Because, yeah,
I go,
she
you
up,
basically
she
gotta roll
upcast
a
to
10 or
spell
above.
magic, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's a level 8 spell, so it's an 18 plus your dice roll. I go, it's a 50-50 shot.
Yep.
And
Yep.
she flipped a coin 5 times because she used her entire inspiration bank to reroll
Yeah,
that.
she used everything.
So
Yeah.
it can call of Cthulhu. She ran out of luck finally.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, and that was huge though.
It
and
was.
and after the door disappeared.
Yeah.
And then it was the Praetorian. Those Praetorians started using legitimate moves.
They started, well, because that's what I said, is that I was thinking that these Praetorian Guard were like, we're coming in with Xingshe.
Yeah.
We're just gonna, I mean, we don't gotta do anything. Like, we're here for show, you know?
Yeah, and
all of a sudden Xingshe is gone. Like, he
Yeah.
just watched this, they just
It's
watched
like, we
these
gotta
group of nobodies.
In my mind, guys are going to try and take out a couple people around them and then bolt.
Because they,
They're
they were
gonna
now,
fight, or they're going to fight to the death if they think they
have
can
to.
do it.
yeah, they were legitimately afraid for their lives now because they just
Yeah.
watched Xingshe disappear.
yeah, and you made a good point, right? Because suddenly they were doing branding smite.
Yeah.
And you made a good point when you were like, they didn't really think you guys were anything. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, Xingshe would have had the same thought process.
Yeah.
So from a story standpoint, not the big bad, but someone who could have been cocky as shit, just like you see in animes and you see in video games.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the bad guys, like at any point, he could just be like, you're dead. But he's cocky, and he's like, I'm going to just go through the motions. Oh, you're going to do stuff. No, you won't.
Yeah, you can't hurt me. You
But
know?
he was they were overconfident.
yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you kill, the first Praetorian Guard got killed by the one that was attacking me. I don't remember who killed it.
So, yeah, he took you down, and then
Took me down to
Ramah
one.
moved away.
Yeah, Ramah,
Opportunity
yeah.
attacked, and then he took her down. Broke her rib or an internal injury.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and she killed him with Eldritch Blast.
She Eldritch blasted him and killed him, and then Colfax killed the one in front of me.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Well, so he can't use his arm. He's holding the sword with one hand. I'm like, you can't punch, dude. And then he's like, I don't know how you're gonna hit this. And he's like, and then he's like, and then I said, I didn't think about it. He goes, I'm a monk. I just start kicking.
Yeah. Monks can use anything as a weapon: their feet, their head,
Yeah.
whatever.
And I'm like, man, if I'm next.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Yep.
And he messed him up, and he didn't die, which surprised me.
I
did.
thought he was.
So-
yeah, that's
I thought
right.
he was
That's
gonna
right.
What happens is Colfax brings him down to single-digit HP. He just roundhouse kicks him. I go, it's just like Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse. Roundhouse kicks him right into the neck. You almost take off his neck, like because you put everything you have into it, and he's staggering. Days don't like if it's a Final Fantasy thing. They have stars above their
Yeah.
head and they're staggering. And whoa, my bell just got rung.
Yeah.
And that's when Toy Bar casts Finger of Death.
I thought about this too. I was like, if this guy lives, I'm gonna blast him with something big. But I don't have a 7th level spell slot, which is what Finger of Death uses.
So you upped it.
So I upped it, but it doesn't get extra damage. Finger of Death is just what it is.
Oh, it's a level 7 spell, and that's it.
There's no
okay.
upcasting.
There's no okay.
It just deals, what is it, 12 d8 plus 30
Plus 30,
necrotic
yep.
damage. And so I was like, Toy Bar has been knocked unconscious. His buddy got killed, got back up. Xingshe showed, like, all this crazy shit has happened. He's already going down this darker path, and he's like, I'm done. And he casts Finger of Death. I didn't know that this thing had low hit points because this was the one battle that we didn't use bloodied conditions. And so I blasted him. And the interesting thing about this and I blasted him and he died. And so now I have a Dragonborn zombie under my command. But the interesting thing about this fight, and it's something that I really liked about this fight, was we weren't supposed to win.
No, we weren't.
Hey, tabletop gamers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. We come out with new episodes every Wednesday. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends as we continue to level up and grow.